That missing jet is called the pilot jet, and I was able to use the parts manual to get the part number for it, and parts tree shows they have it in stock, so I've gone and ordered that, and hopefully that plus this cleaning will fix this carburetor, because for whatever reason this is an oddball model. I can't find even a new replacement for it, a Chinese replacement, a used one, nothing. There's just nothing about this particular one. The model's right under it, no problem. There's a few for the models above it, but they're different, and mostly the lower ones are irrelevant because they got a smaller bore and a smaller bolt pattern. The larger ones that are close to this, the orientation's different, and some of the stuff you could probably work with, like the fuel inlets on the other side, but that's not a big deal. But the important thing is they all have a different orientation on this. It actually opens the throttle the other way, which is what I was, wondering earlier, is if somebody had done that to this generator anyhow. But anyway, obviously not. It just doesn't look like there's any kind of a replacement available for this thing. Fortunately, it does look like it's in good shape, with the exception, of course, of the missing jet. But yeah, as long as parts tree comes through for me on that, I should have that. My other option was to buy one of those cheap clones that were close to this and hope they cloned it similarly enough that I could just rob the pilot jet out of one of those and put it here. It actually would have been cheaper after shipping. The shipping cost more than the part did, but anyway. So I'll get this carburetor back together, but I'll have to wait on people make little parts baskets for their ultrasonic cleaners, and I need to do that too. Had a 50-50 chance of getting it right. So I got it right on the second try. it's just a matter of waiting for that jet. I think what I've learned from this is to avoid robbing engines if possible. The lack of support out there and parts, sad. Back to this, I can finally report some good progress on it. Not 100% sure where I left off because it has been a while. I had to wait for that pilot jet to arrive from Parts Tree. It arrived today, and there it is. And thanks to that, and of course the governor work, and disconnecting that low oil sensor, it's running great now. So should still be some fuel in the carb. Let's choke. Oh. It would help if I hooked up the battery. I did put new terminals on it, but I still don't have bolts, so I'm still using my OSHA approved clamps. Let me get those on and bring you right back. There we go. So it's running great. Looks like I may have to kick the idle up some. The voltage was a little low. So my next step is to pull that oil switch, and I'm hoping that just cleaning it will bring it back, because if it doesn't, I'm kind of inclined to just leave it disconnected. It's not like we don't know how to check the oil in our engines. So pull that, clean that, kick the idle up, put the fuel tank back on, change the oil, and it should be good. Okay, sprayed it down through these ports with carb cleaner, then lightly blew it off. See if that made a difference. think that did it. I believe it just ran out of gas. So let me put the tank back on. Alright. We have applied fuel. I guess that tells us that switch is still bad. I'm going to check that oil again. I recall it being a little low, but still acceptable. Obviously, I didn't want to add any to it if I'm going to be changing it. It's up there. I'll wipe it and try it again, but and with Hondas, you're not supposed to screw them in. I'll have to look at the manual for this Robin because I don't know. But if you are supposed to screw it in, it's got plenty of oil. If you're not, then that could be the problem. There may not even be an issue with that switch. It's still in the acceptable range though, so I think the switch is bad. Yeah, either way you go, it's acceptable. Anyway, it's running really good. Well, so I'm going to get some new bolts to hold the fuel tank down. And I did straighten out that bracket, so there's access to the plug now. It's all done. And boy, did I stick my foot in it when I introduced this project and I said, oh, it just needs a little carb work and it'll be ready to go. If you followed along, I've had to fix the governor. I've had to go through my re-education of how the governor works. I've had to repair the carburetor, and it had a missing pilot jet. And dealing with a low oil switch. And then I've done regular maintenance things, replaced the air filter, the old one was really nasty, cleaned the spark plug, and put new terminals on the battery cables, and straightened out that setup and painted it, and put some feet on it so it sat level, and changed the oil, bolted the gas tank down properly. It's ready to go to its new home. turns out that low oil switch is functional. It just really requires the oil level to be on the high end of safe. You saw from the previous clip that I was on the low end of safe, but I still was in the safe area. I changed the oil, so it's got a quart in it now, and hooked up the oil switch, and it's fine. It's running fine. So just being on the low end of safe isn't enough for that oil level switch. And I did confirm via the manual, this is like a Honda. You do not screw in the dipstick when you're checking the oil. You just set it in there and pull it out. So I believe that's it. I'm finally done with this, and I'll wrap it up. Call it good. Thanks for watching.